Welcome students to the today's lecture. Today we would be talking about a process named as phagocytosis. So the learning objective of this lecture is you will be getting to know the basics in the process of phagocytosis. What is it all about? What are phagocytes? What are the main key players that are mediating this process of phagocytosis in our immune response? That how they are clearing out any kind of infectious entity. Then what are the contributing mechanisms that how these phagocytic cells they basically clear out, or you can say they eliminate the target cell or infectious cells. At the end of this lecture you will be getting to know the complete details of every immune cell that is contributing in the process of phagocytosis, and what are the mechanisms they are basically using for it, how they are acting on the membrane of infectious entity, how they are degrading it, how they are bringing about the lysis. So starting with the lecture, first of all, a brief introduction about the phagocytosis. As you can see, this phagocytosis word, it is derived from a term known as phagin. However, this phagin means to eat, and kyotis means cell, and osis, the last four letters in this word, it is process. That means phagocytosis, a collective meaning of this word is a process in which a cell can be eaten. So it is the process of engulfment and destruction of all the solid material, whether it is a complete microorganism or some toxins or some any kind of dead tissue, foreign material, with the help of cells. That process is known as phagocytosis. However, this process is basically dependent upon the mechanism of endocytosis. Now, what is this endocytosis? As the name suggests, endo means internal. Cytosis means engulf. That means endocytosis is the process in which a particular cell will internalize all the material, all the solid material, including the microbial membrane, microbial cell, whole cell, or a part. So most of the cells, they are, most of our immune cells, they are capable of this phagocytosis. In that case, the professional phagocytes of the immune systems are different. For example, who are, they are pro in it, that they can perform this process. Those are macrophages, neutrophils, dendritic cells. They truly excel in this process. However, in this process, what happens is microorganisms that are basically invading the host system, they are being encaptured by these cells, internalized, then processed, and then ultimately lead to their lysis. And their antigenic peptides, they are being presented by these phagocytic cells, and that is the major vital mechanism or of our immune response, and it plays a very essential role in mediating the adaptive immune response against any kind of infectious entity. This is the overview of this process. As you can see, this is a phagocytic cell. It is here, it is a microbe or any other particle. Whenever a microbe or any other particle is trying to invade the host system, in that case, these phagocytic cells, they will come in charge. What will happen? The membrane will start pinching off. As you can see, these are the pseudopodia. One, two. And this plasma membrane will, it will start pinching off, and it will start engulfing this microbe. As you can see, this is the first step. This microbe is being trying to attach this onto the plasma membrane of phagocytic cell. It is being internalized because the pseudopodia formation is there. Once it is internalized, then it is known as phagosome. It is basically, engulfed in the form of vesicle. After that, the lysosome that is already present in the phagocyte containing the digestive enzyme that will fuse with this phagosome, and it will result in the formation of phagolysosome. And after that, because the lytic enzymes that are present in the lysosomes, they will bring about the digestion of microbe. And what is happening? This after phagolysosome, these lytic enzyme is acting upon the microbe. It is digesting the microbial part, and after digesting the complete microbe, the ingested digested material or the residual body that would be excreted out of the cell. So this is the complete process. But this complete process, if you are generally going through it, it is appearing to be quite simple. But how this all process is happening, how the mechanism, what is the mechanism that is being operated in killing of this microbe, why these lytic enzymes are able to kill it, how they are acting upon, what is the site of their action, that everything we need to cover. Now the point is, first thing, what are phagocytes? Phagocytes are those cells, we also call it as phagocytic cells. These are those cells who perform this process of phagocytosis. So these are known as phagocytes. However, there are some key players in this mechanism. Those key players are, there are some professional phagocytes, non-professional phagocytes, and some receptors that help in this process of phagocytosis. In case of professional phagocytes, that means the main cells that are pro in it, those are neutrophils. However, the main function of these neutrophils is because they live to eat and kill the cells. Approximately the production rate of neutrophil is 10 raised to power 11 per day. On the other hand, there is another class, monocytes or macrophages. They have some tissue counterparts because they are localized in different tissues also. For example, Kupffer cells, microglia, they can move in and out of the tissues. That means these macrophages, these phagocytic cells, they can, from one site, they can reach to another site also. And depending upon their localization, their names are different. Then is non-professional phagocytes. In non-professional phagocytes, the example is epithelial and endothelial cells. Because sometimes in case of certain infections, these cells, these epithelial and endothelial cells, they also contribute to the infection because they allow the pathogen to, pass on to this mucosal cellular barriers into the tissues. At that time, they also, sometimes act as phagocytic cells. After that, there is another example, that is Fc receptor and complement receptor. Because these receptors are present onto the surface of phagocytic cell that help in mediating the process of phagocytosis. So this is the process that we have just discussed, because the process is engulfing of bacteria, releasing of toxic chemicals, and then presenting the antigens. In case of neutrophils, macrophages, and eosinophils who are contributing to the phagocytic cells, this was the process that we have just discussed. However, the main origination site, for example, in case of WBCs, they can migrate to different tissues. You can say these complete cells, they are the cleanup crew of our immune system, because they digest dead material, debris. They also, go for clearing out any kind of infectious entity. However, in the case of neutrophils, first of all, you can say, they first of all contribute in this mechanism of phagocytosis. After that, if the neutrophil stage is passed upon, then the macrophage stage is coming. However, eosinophils, they become phagocytic in case of certain parasitic infections, for example, intestinal infection, or if there is some excess deposition of immune complexes. So this is the basophil concept, that how they basically open up the vessel and increase the blood flow. Because in case of tissue injury, when some infection rate is quite high, in that case, these phagocytic cells basically go for phagocytosis. Now, first we need to understand how the tissue injury is happening and how these complete phagocytic cells, they are being approached to one direction. So because these are the basophils, this is again the major lymphocyte, major WBC in case of blood. What happens is, in case of any tissue injury, it releases a chemical, that it releases a chemokine, that is histamine. Along with that, it also releases heparin and eicosanoids. What happens is, this histamine, the main function is, it will increase vasodilation, that means blood flow. It will increase capillary permeability, so that all the neutrophils and all the macrophages, they can switch from one tissue to another tissue. Heparin, because it is an anticoagulant. You must have heard, if some tissue injury is happening, you have got some scratch on your skin. After some time, the blood will clot there. Why? Because whenever a tissue injury is happening to us, in that case, the basophil release anticoagulant heparin. That is why that heparin, it reaches to the site of injury and it coagulates the blood. it clot the blood there. Along with that, whenever a tissue injury is happening, we also experience pain, we also experience redness. In that case, that redness, that swelling, that basically comes due to the action of histamine, that is basically contributing in vasodilation and capillary permeability. As you can see, these are in the case of eosinophils. Eosinophils also release certain kind of cytotoxic chemicals in released in response to some parasitic infections. So this is the complete, step-by-step pathway that how the phagocytes, they invade the area of tissue injury. As you can see here, an athlete is sitting on and the knee of which is injured. If you enlarge this section of this athlete, you will see a structure like this. As you can see, this is the injured part, and these green rods, these are bacteria that are trying to enter inside the tissue, enter inside the skin because of this breached skin part, because of the injury, the skin is cut from here. At that case, when the bacteria enters, the first thing is chemotaxis. At that case, our first step that involved is inflammatory factors release, that is basically mediated by mast cells, that means basophils. What happens is, as you can see, this is the first step. These are the mast cells. It will trigger the basophil. Basophil will start secreting the histamine, heparin, and eicosanoids. What the histamine will do? It is a pro-inflammatory signal, so it will bring about vascular changes. Vascular changes means vasodilation. Capillaries will become permeable. So as you can see, the this is the blood capillary, and here you can see there are some entry points so that the fluid can move in and out of the tissue. After that, next step is margination. In that case, all the leukocytes, they slow down and they start aligning onto the vessel. As you can see, this process is known as margination. Here the neutrophil, it is being aligned to the wall of this capillary. After this margination, diapedesis step is there. Diapedesis means blood cells. They will leave the vessel and enter the tissue. As you can see, if from here, from these entry points, these all will migrate to the site. And at this site, the because of these blood cells movement, the redness would be coming. The swelling would be coming because all the cells, they are rushing towards the tissue injury, that what has happened. After that, next is chemotaxis. Blood cell will also follow a chemical gradient. That means they will move only towards the bacteria. As you can see, all the things are moving towards the bacteria. Neutrophil that has been marginated, it will leave this bloodstream and it will enter inside the tissue to reach the site so that it can initiate the process of phagocytosis. So this is the complete step-by-step response, that how we get response in it in case of any kind of tissue injury. So the process, what are the steps that we have just discussed? This was an overview. Now, steps are, first is chemotaxis, that means they will attract it, recognition and attachment, engulfment and creation of phagosome, then phagolysosome, destruction and digestion, and residual body, that is exocytosis. So the steps is, first of all, you need to detect and opsonize the foreign material that is trying to evade the host system. Then once you have recognized, attachment of that foreign particle to phagocyte should happen. Then once it is attached, the pseudopodia formation would be there, and phagocyte will engulf it. Once the engulfment is done, phagosome would be formed. Then it will fuse with the lysosome to form the phagolysosome. Then intracellular killing and digestion mechanisms would be operating, and last would be egestion. Egestion means ejecting out of the residual body. So this was the complete steps, but starting with the first step, that is recognition and attachment. So first is, whenever an antigen or a phagocyte, they attach with the help of certain receptors. So onto the surface of these bacteria, any kind of foreign particle, they express certain kind of receptors. Those are known as pathogen associated molecules, known as PAM, such as surface carbohydrates. It can be some peptidoglycan, or it can be some proteinaceous entity. However, through which the phagocytic cell will recognize that pathogen associated molecules, that is PAMP. How they will recognize it? They will recognize those patterns with the help of pattern recognition receptor. As you can see in this picture, This is a yellow one is the phagocytic cell. Onto the surface, pattern recognition receptors are present, that is PRR. Example is toll-like receptors. This is a bacteria, and onto the surface you can see light orange color molecules. These are known as pathogen associated molecular patterns, that is PAMP. And the third point is opsonins. Now the point is how this complete opsonization is basically happening. However, the complete process of opsonization you are completely aware of, because we have discussed in our previous lecture series also. So the process of phagocytosis, they first of all start with the binding of opsonins. Opsonins can be complement proteins, or it can be antibodies, or there can be specific molecules onto the pathogen surface known as PAMP. So there are numerous receptors that are basically mediating the process of phagocytosis. For example, FC receptors are there, complement receptors are there. They all, collectively mediate this process. As you can see, this is the opsonization process in which certain antibodies, for example, IgG or complement receptors, that is C3b, in the blood, they will bind to the surface. This is an bacteria, pink one. Onto the surface, you can see light orangish color C3b, that is complement proteins. This green color Y-shaped structure, IgG. As you can see, this bacteria is coated with this. And onto this is a phagocyte. Onto the surface, you can see FC receptor and CR1 receptor. And what they will do, once these antibodies and complement receptors are bind to the bacteria, they will take this bacteria to the phagocytic cell so that it can attach onto these FC receptor and complement receptor. Once it is attached, the phagocyte will form pseudopodia and it will engulf it. So this is the opsonins that are basically these, you can say, IgG antibody and complement receptors. They are being recognized by FC receptor and complement receptor. This is the receptor for IgG, that is FC, and this is a receptor for C3b, that is complement receptor CR1. So once this complete, process is happening, in that case, the antigen is basically being surrounded, that particular foreign material, it is being surrounded by these opsonizing material. Because of that, the attachment is happening and the recognition is happening. Because all of these receptors, whether it is FC mediated receptor, complement mediated receptor, in some cases it also acted upon by mannose receptor or some squinger receptors, because this is a phagocytic cell. Onto the surface you can see there are many types of receptor: squinger receptor, mannose receptor. These are the types of FC receptor. These are the MHC molecules. These are the toll-like receptors, that is PRR. Okay, so this is MHC2, CR1, complement receptors. So all of these, they sometimes, act upon in a different fashion. Because whenever the FC receptor mediated phagocytosis is going on, in that case, first of all, those receptors shall align onto the surface membrane. And once they are aligned and the, antibody coated bacteria is being attached, then in the internal side, ITAM, with the help of SRC kinase, the tyrosine molecule would be phosphorylated. Because of this, the engulfment would be triggered. As you can see this. This is the IgG opsonized particle, Fc gamma R receptor 2A, 1 and 3A. This is the ITAM part. SRC family kinase is activating and it is bringing about the phosphorylation of these internal tyrosine associated molecular patterns. This is a complete step. As you can see, this is the bacteria, these are the IgG, these are the molecules, and as you can see, these are the FC receptor through which these IgG antibodies are basically attaching onto the surface of phagocytes. What is happening at this SRC kinase, this P is basically donating the phosphorylation, and these are the accessory molecules that basically help in this, or in mediating this process, because these activated integrin molecule, as you can see, these bind to the adapter molecules, such as these are the adapter molecules, stalin, kindlin, vincalin, and they connect to the actin cytoskeleton, and so that the multiple ligands can be further channelized and they initiate the signaling for phagocytosis. This is the complete mechanism of this engulfment. This is the antibody coated bacteria, and this is the previous structure. This is the complete pathway, that how they are bringing about the, signaling of this, how it is being operated. Because once this FC gamma R2A receptor, it is cross linked with this IgG antibody. it will activate this SRC family kinases, that is SFK, which will phosphorylate first of all tyrosine residue, this red box. It would be phosphorylated. Then this SYK, it will associate with this phosphorylated ITAM, and it will lead to the phosphorylation and activation of many signaling complexes that are formed by other molecules. For example, linker for activation of T cells, or they will interact with some other proteins. However, some proteins, they basically contribute for phospholipase C gamma. For these phospholipase C gamma, PLC gamma, it will produce inositol triphosphate. As you can see, this LAT, it is acting upon phospholipase C gamma. It is producing inositol triphosphate and diacylglycerol. This will further activate proteinase kinase C family, and it will further initiate the pathway of ERK and P38. On the other hand, the similar inositol triphosphate, it will attach to the receptor that is present onto the endoplasmic reticulum so as to initiate the influx of calcium ions. This process, this is the one picture of it. On the other hand, it is also acting upon PI3K enzyme, and it is bringing about the phosphorylation so that the myosin residues can be acted upon. However, there is the guanine nucleotide exchange factor VAV is also playing the role that activate the GTPase mediated RAC protein, which is basically involved in the actin nucleation complex formation. In that case, the transcription factor NF kappa B, JNK, star wave, all of these enzymes will contribute in initiating the signaling. Now these are the till now we have talked about FC receptor mediated. Now is complement receptor mediated. In this, there are three types of receptors: CR1, 3, and 4, that are expressed on the macrophages. The particle ingestion is basically triggered by the complement receptors, and they can be induced by some proteinase kinase series activators also. For example, PMA, tumor necrosis factor alpha, or some growth factor mediated factors. For example, you can see this is again the pathway that how this complement receptor signaling is happening in the phagocytosis, because this CR3 receptor, it will bind the complement fragment that is present onto the bacteria, and it will activate the cascade by activating the row, that is either independently this row, either it can directly activate this row protein, or it can follow the channel of this, that it will first of all bringing about the phosphorylation, then SYK will activate the VAV protein, and then the Rho protein would be activated. However, this SYK protein, then Rho in turn lead to actin polymerization. It can mediate this process by two mechanisms. First is by it can activate the Rho kinase, that is known as ROCK. It will phosphorylate and activate the myosin 2 residues and induce the accumulation of ARP2 and ARP3 and actin assembly at the phagocytic step. However, it can also induce the accumulation of this M-dia1, that is mammalian diaphanous related formanin 1. And what it will do, it will again promote the actin polymerization. And this M-dia A1, as you can see, it is directly acting upon, or it can move to another channel, that is it can directly attack to the microtubule associated protein SLP170, and it will provide a link to the microtubule cytoskeleton. So this is a process of complement receptor mediated phagocytosis. However, there is some difference. For example, the pseudopodia that protrude from the macrophage surface to engulf the IgG opsonized particles, and the complement coated particle, they sink directly into the cell. But however, in the case of FC receptor, ROS and other pro-inflammatory molecules are required. So this is an animation that is basically showing the complete process of this phagocytosis. I think it is not playing. Okay, no. Next is mannose receptor mediated phagocytosis. That means it will recognize the mannose and fucose on the surface of pathogens. In that case, instead of other molecules, mannose and fucose will be acting upon, and it will mediate phagocytosis of organisms. There are some pro cytokines that are involved in this process. For example, interleukin 1 beta, interleukin 6, and TNF alpha, interleukin 12. However, there are another squanger receptors that are present on the wide variety of microbes, and these receptors are basically they are the modified endocytes, the modified lipoproteins. This is a complete particle, complete step that how it is operating. This is the phagocytic cell plasma membrane. It is ingesting this food vacuum, and after that, after an ingestion, it is excreting out the residual body. However, this complete effective phagocytosis process required two components. That means particle internalization and then the phagosome maturation. So, till now we have discussed about recognition and attachment, and how this is being mediated, how the engulfment, how matlab, you can say how the microbe will be attaching to this phagocytic cell. Another is engulfment or ingestion. Attachment of microbe to the phagocyte result, after this attachment, either with the help of Fc receptor or with the complement receptor. Next step is the signal is triggered. Now that signal will basically contribute. Now you have to engulf the bacteria. So this ingestion is basically bring about by pinching of plasma membrane and formation of phagosome. However, this is an energy driven process because we require ATP for this. So after that, phagolysosome formation is happening, in which saying the microsome will fuse with the lysosome and it will form phagolysosome. So when the membranes are fusing, so there is explosive discharge because large number of toxic macromolecules and other compounds would be entering the phagosome, and the complete killing inside the phagosome are confined to this organelle of phagolysosome. So thus protecting the cytoplasm of phagocyte from these cytotoxic activity is very important. So this how this phagosomal maturation is happening. In this case, there are three phases. Early, late phagolysosome. That means when the phagosome is fusing with the lysosome, it is happening in three phases. First is refractory to fuse with the lysosome. In that case, the pH is acidic. That means 6.1 to 6.5. There is poor hydrolytic activity. So once the fusion is started, and there is almost the fusion is about to complete, in that case the acidic pH, the pH would be more acidic. That means pH will drop 5.5 to 6, because there are many lytic enzymes that are being released by lysosomes. So many proteases, lysosomal associated membrane proteins, they will all come into picture. And once this complete fusion is happening, the phagolysosome formation is happening. This is the complete pathway of phagolysosome maturation. As you can see, this is the bacteria, this is the early endosome, and how this is happening, which basically it is happening in early, intermediate, latent phagolysosome. In this process, what is happening, phagosome will become increasingly acidic with the progressing phase because of the action of a protein pump, that is VATPase. As you can see, VATPase. Because the complete mechanism is basically due to various degrading enzymes, because the composition of membrane would be changing, and it will include many membrane fusion proteins such as GTPase, RAB. As you can see, there are many other proteins also. Because of that, the complete engulfment is happening, and the final phagolysosome, it would be very acidic. Third step is intracellular killing and digestion. In this, after the phagolysosome formation, the first detectable effect on microorganism is loss of ability to reproduce. That means reproduction ability of infectious entity would be lost, and more macromolecular synthesis will be also stopped within you can say 10 to 30 minutes. After 10 to 30 minutes, the microbe would be killed. Now, what is happening in this 10 to 30 minutes? Because there must be some mechanisms that how the killing is happening, which enzyme is acting upon, what pathways is being being followed, how which compound is being formed. So basically this complete killing is divided into two parts, that is oxygen dependent and oxygen independent. As the name suggests, one pathway would be dependent upon the availability of oxygen and another would be oxygen independent. So intracellular killing and digestion, this is the complete you can say the comparative of both. As you can see, this is the oxygen. In this case, we require an enzyme NADPH oxidase. What it will do, it will produce ROS, that is uh, oxygen superradicals. So after that, with the help of enzyme SOD, that is an antioxidant enzyme, it will convert it into hydrogen peroxide. Then after that, myeloperoxidase will also play a role. It will convert it into hypochlorite, and oxygen is excreted, and phagolysosome is basically being acted upon by oxygen or ROS mediated species to bring about the killing. On the other hand, if you talk about oxygen independent, that means oxygen is of no use. In that case, there are certain lytic enzymes, for example, lysozyme, glycolase, phospholipase, nucleases, lactoferrin, some basic proteins, they basically mediate the killing. Now, the both the mechanisms I would be discussing. First is oxygen dependent. In this process, what is happening? The binding of Fc receptors that are present on neutrophils, monocytes, or macrophages. Because of that, once the bacteria is bind, they will increase the oxygen uptake. That means once the bacteria will bind to this receptor, the oxygen uptake by that phagocytic cell, it will increase. And this complete process is known as respiratory burst, because once the oxygen is being the influx rate is increased, in that case there would be large production of reactive oxygen species, that is ROS. To cater those reactive oxygen species, large number of antioxidant enzymes will come into play. For example, salt, that will basically squench off these particles, so that will mediate the killing. Now how? As you can see, this is a phagocyte. These are the free radicals. Those free radicals are reactive oxygen species, that is O2 negative, H2O2, OH hydroxyl ions. On the other hand, there is another reactive nitrogen species. The first step is when the oxygen uptake is increased, as you can see, oxygen is increased. At this case, the reduction step would be carried out by NADPH oxidase. After that, once this is being reduced, superoxide would be formed. And after that, the superoxide would be acted upon by salt to reduce it into hydrogen peroxide. And in the presence of chloride ions, it will be converted into hypochlorite with the help of enzyme myeloperoxidase. On the other hand, it can also undergo the Fenton reaction, in which this hydrogen peroxide can be, degraded into hydroxyl radicals also. On the other hand, it can be eliminated from the body because of this hydroxyl radical formation. The second picture of this pathway, that is now these reactive nitrogen species, due to which RNS is being formed. In that case, arginine is the major contributing factor for this peroxynitrite formation, and that is brought about by nitric oxide synthase. This is the complete mechanistic approach that we have just discussed in the previous slide, that how the oxygen is taking the, being reduced by NADPH oxidase. This is a superoxide anion, then hydrogen peroxide is formed, then hydroxyl radicals, then hydrochlorous acid in the help of myeloperoxidase. Next is oxygen independent. In case of neutrophils, these oxygen species, they act in a very coordinated fashion. In that case, myeloperoxidase pathway is basically dominated. However, in case of macrophages, some mammalian species, they also catalyze the production of nitric oxide by enzyme nitric oxide synthase, so that peroxynitrite can be formed. So basically, all these steps, oxygen dependent mechanisms, are operating in this fashion. L-arginine radical, and it is being reduced to hydroxyl radical. These are the oxidant targets that they will bring about the oxidation of lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. Next is oxygen independent mechanism, in which the pH of phagolysosome can be as low as 4, and it can inhibit the many type of organism because of the activity of many enzymes. Many enzymes are present, for example, lysozyme, glycolase, phospholipase, nucleases, because all of these proteins, in conjunction with some basic proteins, they inhibit the bacteria, yeast, and some other viruses, because they bring about the process of degranulation. Bactericidal proteins, for example, defensins, proteases, for example, serine proteases, elastases, example, metalloproteases, or acid hydrolases. However, there is microbicidal activity of phagosome is also triggered, that is, acidification of phagosome is being triggered, ROS and nitric oxide pathways being triggered, lysosomal enzymes are being acted upon. This is the complete, pathway, that how they are acting upon by oxygen dependent mechanism and oxygen independent. This is the host microbicidal factor. This is the BTPase through which the H positive ions are being entered. In the response, oxygen is being, influx is increased. NADPH oxidase is producing hydrogen peroxide. This is the same pathway that I have previously discussed. So what is happening here? It is peroxynitrite formation is there, and what is happening? It is attacking DNA, RNA, and protein, and damage is happening. In that case, this defensin protein, proteases, they are not active. But microbial defensive mechanism, how the microbial can, protect themselves. Then how they will first of all inactivate NADPH oxidase with the help of certain proteases. They will produce some antibacterial polypeptides. They will use some other enzymes so as to block this complete process. From this pathway, the complete the process is stopped, or it is being prevented by the microbes. The last step is egestion and antigen presentation. So once the complete microbe is digested or destroyed, the unwanted or residual body that will be expelled out from the body. However, this process is completely opposite to that of ingestion, and molecular mechanism is completely reverse of the phagocytosis. So all of these processes are they basically ejected out of the cell with the help of process egestion. These are the microbial evasions. They inhibit adherence. For example, streptococcus. There are some molecules that can kill phagocytes. These are the microbial entities that can, block the process of phagocytosis by acting on these sites. They will, inhibit the adherence. They can kill the phagocytic cell. They can lyse the phagocytic cell. They can escape the phagosome formation. They can prevent the phagolysosome fusion. So all of these are different kind of mechanisms that basically act, and this is the normal mechanism, and these are the the checkpoints onto which these different kind of microbes act upon. So the complete neutrophils and macrophages, the basic function of these phagocytes is to ingest the foreign material, to kill the bacteria and other microbes, and to prevent the tissue damage. This was the complete neutrophil recruitment that we have already discussed. This was the complete phagocytic cell activation with the help of chemotactic factors. So the complete process of adhesion, chemotaxis, phagocytosis, respiratory burst, and degranulation, it is being acted upon by phagocytosis. These proteins that are recognized by these, phagocytic cells that bind to the bacteria surface, they basically enhance the phagocytosis process. This is the neutrophil-mediated phagocytosis of bacteria, that how they act upon C3b receptor, Fc receptor. The opsonization would be happening, and then the phagolysosome formation would be there. Again, there would be two pathway, because in the previous we have discussed about macrophage mediated phagocytosis. This is neutrophil mediated. In this case, oxygen radicals are being produced, and these enzymes will contribute. Again, the mechanism of respiratory burst, similar to that of macrophages, will operate. The same mechanism of oxygen dependent and oxygen independent would operate. And this same mechanism would be operated upon in neutrophils also. So the complete mechanism that are associated with this phagocytosis of bacteria, there are some enzymes that are basically infect. There is some immense role in tuberculosis also, that infection before activation of cell mediated immunity with the help of mycobacterium is being attached to the manus, and unchecked proliferation is happening. This is the T helper cell 1 response after 3 weeks of infection. Mycobacterial antigens are being displayed by T cells and APCs. This is the T helper cell 1 mediated macrophage activation with the help of interferon gamma and tumor necrosis factor release. This is the complete sequence of it. Then there are some defects if some phagocytes are not present. That is CGD, CHS, HIE, MPO. Because of these deficiencies, many kind of symptoms can arise. Many type of diseases can arise. As you can see, PIADD, LIST gene, STAT3 gene mutation. So all of these genes basically, make a person prone to a particular infection. So these are the Q&Qs pertaining to this lecture, which are already uploaded onto the LMS. You people can attempt it, that how they are acting upon, what are the receptors involved. Thank you so much for listening.